Hey, language adventurers, and a super warm welcome back to Learning ConvoCraft.
Hello, everyone. Great to be back.
We're here, like always, helping you level up your English. And today, oh boy, we're talking about something I know so many of you run into.
That's right. We're talking about that feeling, where you understand English pretty well.
Totally.
You can watch shows, listen to us talk, no problem there.
Exactly. You're nodding along, you get it, you feel good about your comprehension, but then, bam, someone asks you something.
Or you want to jump in, share an idea.
And suddenly it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Tongue-tied. Words just gone.
Yeah, it's this invisible barrier, isn't it, between understanding it all and actually, speaking it.
Mm-hmm. You're absorbing all this language, but when it's your turn to talk, your brain just kind of freezes up.
Hits a roadblock, happens all the time.
It really does. And there's actually a term for this, which I think nails it. Passive bilingual.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
It's someone who, gets the language, understands it well, but doesn't really speak it actively. And honestly, it's becoming super, super common these days.
Well, think about it. We're just swimming in English content online, right? Videos, music, podcasts.
Everywhere.
It's so easy to just consume. And that builds your understanding, definitely.
For sure. You're like a sponge, just soaking it all in. But the piece that often gets missed is the doing part. Actually, opening your mouth, making the sounds, putting sentences together yourself.
Right. So when that moment comes where you need to speak, it feels like your brain hasn't really built that specific pathway yet, the speaking pathway.
Exactly. It's those missed chances to practice speaking that create that mental block, that hesitation.
Your brain just hasn't had enough, reps doing the actual talking part.
But hey, listen up, because this is the important bit. This is totally fixable. Seriously.
Absolutely. It's not a permanent state.
Trust me on this one. My own spoken English. Let's just say it wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
Not even close.
We all start somewhere.
Right. But using some really simple methods, stuff you can do right from home, no fancy travel needed, I went from feeling really awkward to actually feeling pretty confident having a chat in English.
And that's exactly what we want to share today. We've got 3 super straightforward steps, things you can do to bridge that gap.
Yep. To go from being that passive understander to an active, confident speaker. And the cool part, you don't even need a dedicated speaking partner to get started.
Which is often the biggest hurdle for people, right? Finding someone to practice with.
Totally. Okay, so you ready for step 1?
Let's do it.
All right, step number 1 is treat English like a sport, not an academic subject. Now, I know that might sound a bit weird at first.
Hey, yeah, English is a sport. What does that mean?
Well, think about how most people traditionally learn languages, especially in school. It often gets treated like, math or history.
Right. Lots of focus on rules, memorization.
Exactly. You spend hours drilling verb tenses, trying to understand every single preposition, getting all the grammar rules perfect in your head.
And look, knowing grammar, it's useful. For writing, for tests, absolutely.
Hopefully helpful.
But for a real-time conversation, it often doesn't quite cut it.
Not really.
Yeah.
Because think about when you're actually talking to someone, it's fast, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Back and forth.
They say something, you need to process it, think of a reply, and say it pretty much instantly. There's no time to sit there and mentally diagram the sentence or check your verb conjugation charts.
Forget about it. And that's where the sport idea really clicks. Think about playing tennis or basketball or even a fast video game.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about quick reactions, making decisions on the fly, your brain and body working together almost automatically. Speaking a language fluently is, kind of similar. It needs that quick thinking, that immediate response.
You nailed it. And how do you get good at any fast-paced skill like that? Practice.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't expect to become a great soccer player just by reading the rule book, would you?
No way. You got to get out there and actually kick the ball a lot.
Right. And connecting that back to your brain during a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
wow, there's a lot happening really fast.
Oh, totally. You're figuring out your message, searching your brain for the right words, trying to string them together coherently.
All while the other person is, waiting.
Exactly. It takes a ton of practice for all those little mental steps to become smooth, automatic, almost unconscious.
So the big takeaway here for this first step is really simple. Spend less time only studying the rules in isolation and way more time actually practicing the act of speaking.
Study less, practice more. For speaking, anyway.
Yeah. So maybe take a second and think, How do you currently practice speaking? Is it more about the books and rules or more about actually, making sounds and forming sentences out loud?
That's a great question to ask yourself. Okay, so that leads us nicely into step number 2, which is all about how to start that practice.
Right. Step number 2, kickstart your speaking with imitation practice. Okay, this one might feel a little, I don't know, strange at first, maybe even a bit silly.
Possibly. But trust us, it's such a powerful technique, especially when you're just starting to build that speaking muscle.
Think about it for a sec. Go way back. How did you learn your very first language, your native language?
Good question.
Did you sit down with grammar books as a baby? Or just start babbling randomly with no input?
Definitely not. You were surrounded by it, weren't you?
Constantly.
Yeah.
Parents, family, everyone talking at you, to you, around you.
Yeah.
Just this nonstop stream of language input.
Constant exposure.
And what did you do as a little kid? You listened, and then you started
Copying.
imitating the sounds, then words, then little phrases you heard over and over. That's literally how you built the foundation of your ability to speak.
It's the most natural way to learn language, really.
And guess what? You can tap into that exact same process for English. Start by simply imitating native speakers. Seriously, it's one of the best ways to get your mouth and brain working together for speaking.
Especially if you feel really stuck, like you don't even know where to begin forming a sentence, imitation gives you the whole package.
Yeah, it's amazing what you pick up. You're practicing pronunciation, obviously, but you're also absorbing natural sentence patterns, how words fit together.
Vocabulary gets reinforced too.
And all without consciously thinking about grammar rules. It's learning by doing, just like when you were tiny.
It's so effective. I mean, even for myself, doing videos, listening back, sometimes repeating phrases, it definitely helps my own speaking feel more natural over time.
Okay, so let's make this really concrete. Let's try a quick demo.
Good idea.
I'll say a few short, simple phrases about, let's say, pizza. Everyone likes pizza, right?
Yeah, go wrong with pizza.
Okay, so I'll say a phrase, and you, listening at home, just try repeating it out loud right after me. Don't overthink it. Ready?
Let's hear it.
All right, so my favorite food has to be pizza.
Pause for listener. All right, so my favorite food has to be pizza.
Seriously, I could eat it every day.
Pause. Seriously, I could eat it every day.
I like to have it while watching a movie.
Pause. I like to have it while watching a movie.
But honestly, it's the perfect food for any occasion.
Pause. But honestly, it's the perfect food for any occasion.
See? Simple, right?
Yeah.
This is brilliant for beginners or anyone who feels that block when trying to form sentences.
Yeah, because you're not having to come up with the words and the structure and say it all at once. You're just focusing on the saying part, using a ready-made phrase.
Exactly. You're borrowing the natural rhythm and flow. Now, we do need to be clear here.
Important distinction.
Just imitating isn't the same as having a real conversation where you have to think on your feet and generate your own ideas and sentences.
Definitely not. Imitation is step 1. It's fantastic for building that initial comfort, getting the sounds right, learning common chunks of language.
It gets you over that initial hurdle.
Right. But as you progress, maybe to an intermediate level, you'll want to add practice that involves more independent thinking to really accelerate your fluency.
For sure. But start here.
Yeah.
It works. So think about the English stuff you already enjoy listening to: podcasts, YouTubers, shows.
Music, even.
Yeah. What bits could you start just repeating? What phrases could you practice imitating today?
Good question to ponder. Okay, so you're doing imitation. What's next? How do you level up?
Perfect lead-in to step number 3.
Yeah.
Level up your fluency with AI chatbots.
Ooh, interesting. AI.
Yeah. So remember the sport analogy. Variety in training is key, right? You don't just do one drill over and over.
Right, you mix it up to develop different skills.
Exactly. And while listening and imitating is super valuable, if that's all you ever do, and you never actually try to have that back and forth exchange.
Your speaking progress might slow down, kind of hit a ceiling.
Yeah, it can plateau. Because to really get better at speaking, you need to actually, speak in a conversational context.
You need to challenge yourself to produce language independently, not just repeat.
Totally. In a real chat, you're digging into your own brain for words, building your own sentences, responding to what the other person says. It's a whole different skill set than just imitation.
And the benefits of that kind of practice, huge.
Oh, yeah. Every time you search for a word and use it correctly, it gets stronger in your memory.
And the more you practice building sentences on the fly, the faster and better you get at it. It's like building mental muscle.
Your brain literally gets quicker at thinking and responding in English. Now, The ideal situation, of course.
Is chatting with real, fluent English speakers.
Right. People with good vocabulary, good grammar. You learn tons that way.
But let's be honest. Finding regular opportunities to chat with patient, fluent speakers can be tricky sometimes. Scheduling, availability.
It can be a real challenge. And that's where these AI chatbots are becoming such an amazing tool, like the ChatGPT, Gemini, tools like that.
Okay, so how do they help specifically?
Well, first off, they speak fluent English.
Yeah.
Really good English, usually.
Right, so you're getting good input.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about picking up mistakes or slightly off grammar, which, can sometimes happen if you're only practicing with other learners who are also figuring things out.
That's a fair point. Consistent, correct input.
And maybe the biggest advantage, they're available 24/7.
Convenient.
Seriously. You can practice having a conversation literally anytime, anywhere, waiting for a bus. Practice. Can't sleep. Practice. It makes getting conversation practice just so incredibly easy.
Okay, so what does that look like? How would you actually practice with one?
It's pretty simple. You can just start a chat and say something like, "Hi, I'd like to practice my spoken English. Can we chat?"
And the AI will likely say yes.
Almost certainly. It'll probably ask, "Sure. What do you want to talk about?" Then you can suggest something, your hobbies, your day, a movie you saw.
Or if you're stuck.
You can even ask it for a topic. Or if you're feeling a bit nervous, you can say, "My English isn't perfect yet. Can we talk about something simple, like what we did today?"
Oh, that's good. You can kind of set the difficulty level.
Exactly. And then you just have a slow-paced chat.
Yeah.
You could say, "Well, I started my morning with coffee."
Sure.
And it might reply, "Oh, nice. What kind of coffee?" Or, "What did you do next?"
So it feels like a real, if basic, conversation.
Totally. It's interactive. It forces you to think and respond. It's actually quite fun and a really low-pressure way to build confidence.
I can see how that would help bridge the gap between imitation and full conversation.
For sure. So the recommendation here is, don't just do imitation. Start adding in some chatbot conversations too. Mix it up.
That mixed practice approach.
Yeah, it helps you develop different facets of speaking. Maybe start chatting with an AI once or twice a week, see how it feels, and maybe do it more often as you get comfortable.
And you mentioned something interesting earlier. Sometimes they understand your native language too.
Oh yeah, that's super helpful. If your English isn't quite there yet to explain what you want to practice, you can often tell the chatbot in your own language first. Like, "I want to practice simple conversation about daily routines."
Okay. So you set it up in your language, then switch to English for the practice itself.
Exactly. It removes that initial barrier.
Honestly, I really wish these AI tools existed back when I was struggling more with speaking.
Right. It would have made things so much easier.
So much faster, I think. It's genuinely a fantastic resource available now. So please, if you're serious about improving your speaking, take advantage of these chatbots.
Definitely worth trying.
Maybe after listening to this, give it a shot. Open up a chatbot. What topic would you choose for your first AI conversation practice?
Another great thing for you listening to think about.
Well, that pretty much brings us to the end of our chat for today. We really hope breaking it down into these 3 steps helps make it feel less daunting.
Yeah, moving from understanding to speaking is possible.
Absolutely. Just remember, treat it like a sport practice. Practice.
Start with imitation to get things flowing.
And then level up with those AI chatbot conversations. Consistency with these methods, mixing them up, it'll make a real difference.
Guaranteed, you'll start noticing improvements. So if you found this conversation useful and you want more ideas and strategies for really mastering your spoken English, please do hit that subscribe button for Learning ConvoCraft.
Yeah, we'd love to have you join us for future chats. Don't miss out.
And hey, if you know someone else on this English learning path, maybe someone who feels that same speaking frustration.
Share this with them. Learn together. Support each other.
Definitely. Thanks so much for tuning in and spending your time with us today. We really appreciate you being part of the Learning ConvoCraft community.
We do indeed. We've got some more cool stuff planned for next time.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Until then, keep practicing, keep experimenting, and keep crafting those English conversations.
With Learning ConvoCraft.